I'm excited to welcome you back to another art lesson with Napa STEM Academy. Today we're going to be doing the pie skyline activity. Today, once again, we are going to be combining our math skills and our art skills to create an awesome project. We're going to be creating a silhouette of a city skyline by using the digits of pi. The materials you're going to need for this project are grid paper, but you can also use printer paper, a pencil, crayons, markers, or watercolors, a ruler, and the pie poster, which we have a link to right here. All right, guys, everybody knows the drill. It's time for vocabulary to get our brains primed for the activity. Our first vocabulary word is digit. A digit is a number text character used to show numerals. So, for example, the number 56 has 2 digits in it, 5 and 6. So if we think about our alphabet and our letters, basically digits are like letters. They get put together to add up to our numbers. So next we have the word pi, but it's not like the kind that you put in the oven for 30 minutes. This one is the ratio of the distance around a circle to the circle's diameter. So basically that ratio produces a number, and that number is always the same every time. The number starts out with 3.14159265, but then it continues on and on and on without an end. Have you ever seen your own shadow? That's an example of our next vocabulary word, silhouette. A silhouette is a solid dark image outlined against a lighter background, like when you see your own shadow. Next, we have skyline, which is the outline, or silhouette, of a group of buildings or a mountain range or whatever seen against the sky. As you might have already noticed, pie shares its name with a very different concept, the tasty kind. So we have 2 very different things that sound exactly the same when you say them out loud. That is called a homophone. Homophones are words that sound the same as another word but have a different meaning and often a different spelling. In this case, pie that we're going to be using today, the number, is P-I versus the type that you eat and tastes really good, that's P-I-E. Lastly, we have gradient, which is a gradual change or blending of color. A good example of this is when you look up at the sunset and you see different colors all melding together to create this beautiful palette. That is an example of how the sky can form a gradient. Now that we've talked about some important vocabulary, we're ready to get started on our art project. Step 1. Each building in the city skyline is represented by a digit of pi. Open the link to the pie poster to help you out. Step 2. If you have grid paper, start from the bottom left corner of the page. In the first column of squares, fill in 3 of them. If you do not have grid paper, you can print your own grid from an image. Here's a hint. You can place your grid paper under the blank paper. Press the blank paper down and trace on the grid lines. Step 3. The next building will be to the right of your first building. Color in 1 square. Then the next building after that will be 4 squares tall. Step 4. Continue creating a silhouette of the skyline until you have reached the right edge of your paper. And if you need a little hint about what number comes next, we've provided a lot of pi digits for you on the PowerPoint slide. Step 5. After you've filled in your nighttime skyline, add those stars and a big old moon. Step 6. Pick 1 to 3 colors to create a gradient for your night sky. Try to color very lightly toward the bottom of the drawing and gradually color darker the higher up you go. If you have watercolors, you can apply the watercolor over the top using light blue, dark blue, purple, all of those colors in right to left relaxed motions. So let's talk a little bit about how this project relates to the real world. Each major city has its own unique and recognizable skyline. Can you think of one thing that makes San Francisco's skyline stand out? If you want to play more with silhouettes, you can do shadow puppets. Grab a flashlight and put on a shadow puppet show for your family. Want to add more to your creation? You can add the constellations above us for a realistic night sky. Look up which constellations are in the sky over us in this season and pick 2 to 3 to plot out above your skyline. And if you want, with your parent permission and supervision, go outside at night and look for those specific constellations. See if you can identify the constellations you included in your pie skyline. Pie, pie, pie. Oh, now I want a piece. If you want, you can make your own pie at home to enjoy with your family. Don't get pie confused with pie. Pie and pie are homophones, just like we talked about earlier. They sound the same, but they are spelled differently and have very different meanings. Click on the link below to get to the banana cream pie recipe. I hope you had fun creating art today, and I hope you'll share it with us too. We'll see you next week for another art project. Bye!